When you're okay. Okay, we call the meeting to order. Our regular meeting of council, March 10th. We have the agenda before us, but just before we want to there's a couple of proclamations to declare. So it's Purple Day for Epilepsy on March 26th. Whereas Purple Day is a global effort to promote epilepsy awareness in countries around the world. And whereas Purple Day was founded by 9-year-old Cassidy Megan of Nova Scotia, who wanted to let people know that if you have epilepsy, you are not alone. And whereas epilepsy is a chronic neurological disorder which affects each person differently, estimated to affect more than 10,000 people in Newfoundland and Labrador, and over 300,000 people in Canada, 50 million people worldwide. And whereas 1 in 10 persons will have at least one seizure during their lifetime. And whereas the public is often unable to recognize common seizure types and unable to respond with appropriate first aid. Whereas Purple Day will be celebrated on March 26th annually to increase understanding, reduce stigma, and improve the quality of life for people living with epilepsy throughout the country and globally. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Laura Crawley, of the Town of Holyrood, do hereby proclaim March 26th as Purple Day in an effort to raise awareness and understanding of epilepsy and to support all those who live with seizures each day. Sign the proclamation. We also have another proclamation for Easter Seals Month. Whereas more than 130,000 people of all ages in our province live with disabilities such as physical, sensory, cognitive, or other disabilities that present barriers to full participation in society. Whereas Easter Seals Newfoundland and Labrador is a charitable organization with a vision for a community where all people with disabilities live full, healthy, and active lives. A mission to engage, inspire, and maximize opportunities for people with disabilities of all ages by providing meaningful programs and services. Whereas Easter Seal NL's recreation programs help those with disabilities explore what they can do through independence camps, art and music therapy, and adaptive sports promoting full, active, and healthy, socially engaged lifestyles. Whereas Easter Seals Newfoundland offers employment and educational services to assist those with barriers to employment in successfully transitioning from home and school into adulthood and independence, with a focus on preparing for, obtaining, and maintaining gainful employment. Whereas Easter Seals Newfoundland I Can Too disability awareness program activities foster disability awareness and sensitivity and provide tools for accessibility and inclusion. Therefore, with the support of Council of Town of Holyrood, I sign this proclamation and declare the month of March in 2026 to be observed throughout the town as Easter Seals Month. I call upon all citizens of this community to support the worthy charitable organization and the people of all ages and all disabilities it serves. And I've witnessed many of those Can Too disability awareness programs, and they are fantastic. Really good. Okay, so officially called to order. Can I have an adoption of the agenda as it sits before you, please? Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Story. I almost said your full name, first name. All right, all those in favor? Aye, so moved. Can we have a tabling or adoption of minutes as they were presented in your email for the regular meeting of Council February 10th, 2026? Do we have any errors, omissions, objections? No? Okay. Minutes are tabled as presented. Business arising from minutes? No. Okay. The mayor's update. Just want to bring to light a couple of things. One, our town thrives more when everyone feels safe, heard, and represented and respected. So we want to be clear that harassment and bullying have no place in the town of Holyrood. So whether we're in person or online, we have a zero tolerance policy, and we do have a policy that supports that. And we want to make sure that any behavior that demeans council, staff, or peoples in the town will not be tolerated at all. We want to make sure that we are all heard and respected. We don't want things weaponized when they have no place to be used in that way. A decision of council, there are many ways if you would like to appeal decisions of council, and any one of our staff would be happy to help you in that process or understand or gain the way towards that process. However, when you use different means to go about that, it is demeaning our work in the town. So I just wanted to state that. And on a brighter note, we want to proud to gather with all the world community for International Women's Day, which was celebrated on Sunday, March the 8th. We want to make sure that we understand that it's a call to strengthen and empower women in our systems. The first woman elected to provincial legislature in Canada was Louise McKinney in the 1917 Alberta general election, while the first woman elected to the House of Commons was Agnes MacPhail. And I think she's in a minute, a heritage moment. And that was in 1921. So it really, really wasn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things. And there was a quote that I posted as well on Facebook, and I feel like it's really relevant. I am only standing because several generations of women refused to never sit down. And that was Mary Kilroy, who was also in politics. So I just wanted to say that we support the trailblazers in our town and in our systems, in our governments, for standing up for the women and girls who build a future. Thank you. Okay, that's it for the mayor's update. Correspondence. We actually have two pieces of correspondence. One was from the Honourable Minister Barry Pettin regarding multiple year capital works projects. This has been passed along to CSA and Infrastructure and Public Works, and basically refers to the monies that have been given to us for the multi-year capital works projects. So it'll be reviewed and a response will be sent. The other correspondence is from the Honourable Minister Chris Tibbs, Minister of Municipal Affairs. And it was basically identifying, and it was sent to all of councils in all municipalities. It identified things to ensure that we're following process, like having a financial committee, making sure there's checks and balances in place, making sure that everyone is in compliance with the Municipalities Act. And we are very, very pleased to say that we checked every box on that list. So we wanted to make sure that we knew it was tabled, it was read, it was referred to, we went through it in CSA, and we're proud to say that all indications have been met. Okay. Madam CAO, is there any other correspondence?
There are some general letters that have been sent to various committees for their review before response.
Okay, so as is our process, when inquiries come into a particular council member or the info@holyrood.ca or even one of the staff members, it is CC'd to our director, and it is ensured it's gone to the proper committee, and the committee reviews the letter and sends forth a response. So all other letters head in that direction. Okay. And that's it for correspondence. Then we're on to planning and development. And who's giving our Bruce King, Councillor Bruce King? He's like, who, me? Planning and development update and motions.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We did not have a planning and development meeting this month because there was only one item on the agenda, and that item we were already recommended for approval anyway, so that's why we didn't have a meeting. But I do have, unless Councillor Windsor has something to add, I'll move along with the motions. Thank you. The first one will be permits. And be it resolved to table and approve the attached permit list. 8 permits were issued from February 6th to March 6th of 2026. permits 01-0005-26 to 02-0012-26, and it includes permits for residential occupancy, garage, demolition, site preps, and home-based business. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Windsor. Any further discussion? No. All those in favor? Aye. So moved.
And the one, as we just discussed, is a home-based business, is located at 2 O'Neill's Road. It's zoned RMD. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. This application is for a home-based office, was advertised with no comments were received by the deadline date. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Windsor once again. Any discussion? Yeah.
Yeah, and just a quick comment, I guess, to support the motion, and a reminder, I guess, to council and all the residents, whenever something like this, a home-based business application comes in, part of our evaluation in our discussions is to examine what is the activity there in terms of parking or customers who may or may not be coming. This doesn't apply in this case, strictly just an office. I just want to remind everyone, we do consider that.
We do our
as
due
part of the
diligence.
application and review process, that's all.
Excellent. Anyone else? No? All those in favor? Aye. No contravene. Motion passed. Thank you, Councillor King. All right, recreation and community events, Councillor Crawley.
The Recreation and Community Service Committee did not meet this month due to weather impacts and scheduling of Crystal Carnival. Crystal Carnival was held February 18th to the 22nd. We had several events that were successfully delivered and well attained. A number of outdoor and weather-dependent activities had to be canceled or postponed in the interest of public safety. We would like to extend our sincere thanks to the Atlantic Lottery for their continued sponsorship and support of this year's event. Looking ahead, preparations are underway for our spring program. Campbell Way Easter Camp will take place April 6th to the 10th at Holy Cross Elementary, with full program details and registration information to be released in the coming weeks. In addition, summer employment opportunities will still be posted on the town's website and social media channels. We encourage those interested to keep an eye out for future details. We do have one motion that involves the Atlantic Recreation and Facilities Conference. This event is a main Atlantic gathering for the recreation and facilities sector and focus on professional development, best practices, network, and partnership building. It includes keynotes, speakers, sector-specific sessions, aquatics, programming, facilities, trails, events, etc. An exhibitor, trade show, and opportunities to collaborate with municipalities and community recreation leaders from across Atlantic Canada. The cost of the conference, including all travel and expenses, is $2,135. This cost would be absorbed within the recreation budget. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood approves the Director of Recreation and Community Service to attend the Atlantic and Facilities Conference in Halifax, Nova Scotia from May 20th to 22nd, 2026. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Crawley, seconded by Deputy Mayor Woodford. Any discussion? No, we discussed these are very important opportunities, so we support our director in attending.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yep.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Motion passed. All right, thank you, Councillor Crawley, and you're right. A lot of times we don't have the snow for the events, and this year it was kind of the opposite. We had so much snow and storms, we had to postpone. So that was, yeah, unfortunate, but there were some really good events and well attended. It was a lot of fun. Okay, Infrastructure and Public Works, Councillor Windsor.
Thank you, Mayor. A few updates here to pass along. Our committee did meet this month. I never jotted down the exact date, but it's in your meeting package. And we had full attendance. Myself, Councillor Story, Mayor Crawley, Director Stacey, and CAO Gibbons. We had that meeting remotely, and we had two special guests actually at that meeting of the canine variety. Mayor Crawley's new pooch, as well as Councillor Story's pooch photobombed us, which I thought was wonderful, right? Have a little bit of fun in the meeting. Number one thing, I guess, to pass along to all of Council's cell phone tower, my bell, and we've talked about that a lot over the last couple of years. The update is that we have received an application to the town for building permit to get started. That'll go through our normal review and approval process, and we have received a design, and so that'll be circulated for review. The dimensions are noted there. I will need other glasses for this version to tell you the footprint and tower height and so on. That's all been provided. So we're really looking forward to that. I think it's very exciting. When you're trying to make an emergency call or conduct your business, it's critical in this day and age. It really is, right? So we're looking forward to that. I wanted to give a more detailed update on all of our projects. I'm getting anxious, as all of you are and the community is, to really see the next steps in all the projects that we've been talking about over the last couple of years. In the last couple of meetings, I've given some general updates on where we are, and I wanted to be able to do that. But really, we're not at that point right now, because we've talked about it internally. And with the new government, and Mayor Crowley mentioned her correspondence with the minister at the outset of the meeting, the new government's in position now. That department is reviewing all of our multi-year capital works projects, and that's not to say that any of them are at risk, but they're doing their due diligence too as a new government coming into power, and we're anxious to have that process completed in a timely fashion. And hopefully we'll have more information to pass along to the council and the residents next meeting or the meeting following that, so we can really get a good understanding of what's going to happen now in the construction season, which is very short. So more to come there, but that's where it is at the moment. I wish I could give you more information, but I can't. That's fine. And there's one that I've been asked about a lot, and I know you guys have too. One of our projects is the Festival Grounds Improvement Project. What I'll say there is we hear you. We can all see with our own two eyes. We wish that it was completed by now. It is not. We do have a meeting. The consultant, that's on hire, Mills and Wright, designer and responsible for oversight of trade contractors. Staff have asked for a meeting with them. And, the most important thing with all of that, of course, is to secure firm commitment for the final completion of the project, right? So stay tuned for that, and don't go easy on them, not one bit, right? We hear you. Thank you.
Sorry, we back you.
So those are the most important things. There's a few other miscellaneous things just to touch on. Your staff have received quotes on new backhoe. That's been reviewed. Next meeting will be coming forward with recommendation to y'all for consideration and approval. There are some RFQs that the staff are working on getting out. Again, the construction season's coming, so we need to get RFQs out, tenders back, reviewed, award. There's timeline to all that to get people working, right? So there are RFQs in process being prepared for water lines, two specific areas, actually Penny's Lane and Bennett's Road. The street sweeping and the line painting RFQs being prepared. And the last item is correspondence, and you touched on it at the outset too. There are a couple of particular files when communication comes in, it's passed on to the committee, we review it, we talk about it, and we agree upon what our response will be to go back to the individual. Yeah. That has been completed. I don't think that we don't deep dive in those specific files in this session. They're referenced in your meeting package for our meeting minutes. Yeah. And just to say that we address it as it comes in, and we do respond. They get a response, right? Yeah. Yeah. That's all we had for this meeting. Hey. The exciting stuff to come later. Yeah. I'll bring my cat to that one.
Bring my...
Councillor Story, did I miss anything, or are you happy with that as presented?
I should have brought 2 dogs.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Councillor Windsor. Okay, now for economic development, Deputy Mayor Woodford.
Good evening, everybody. The Economic Development Committee, we met yesterday, March the 9th, with all members in attendance. Just a quick, brief update on what's been happening with economic development this past month. Our CAO met with Kelly Santos from Marine Institute to discuss, of course, the plans for the upcoming ocean sector event that we're trying to get scheduled for this spring. Ms. Santos also expressed interest in meeting with council, full council, to provide a debrief on the launch initiatives and plans for the upcoming year. So we'll try to get that scheduled in with all of council. CAO also had a zone conference with 2 representatives from the provincial government departments, which focused primarily on goals of the ocean sector and how collaboration between provincial government, OHI, and MI could help advance these objectives. So they made recommendations to support specific inclusions that we need to have in the next OHI contract. So that's very positive information in that sector. And also, you know, since our last meeting, there have been several investment inquiries from developers interested in business ventures in Holyrood. So that's fantastic. We've also had a few new businesses seeking startup space here in the building. We do have, I think, 1 or 2 that are here right now, established. And as Councillor King just did a motion to for a new application for a home-based business that was approved. So, you know, we're moving out of the dull time during the winter, and everything is starting right now as it is with everything else. So I think that's it for my update.
Absolutely, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Oh, our public safety update, Councillor Crowley's up again. Sorry, because Councillor Tilley sends her regrets she couldn't make it tonight.
We didn't have a meeting last month due to weather impacts. There will be a full report that will be discussed for next meeting. I just want to remind all the residents that the Town of Holyrood is starting to collect the radon kits. So if you have them in your home, can you kindly send them back to the town so they can compile them and send them out to be tested. Thanks.
Fantastic, thank you, Councillor Crawley. And our communications update, Councillor Story. There we go.
Thank you. I first want to acknowledge what a beautiful day we had. And the
Agreed.
heat is in the sun. And I think I might saw a little crocus coming up. I believe I
don't
saw
believe
that
ya.
little green tip. So I'm very hopeful. But we're having a snowstorm on Thursday, I believe. So anyway, that won't last very long.
Poor little crocus, tell him to go back to bed.
Last Tuesday, March the 3rd, I attended the seniors group, and I wanted to find out how many people have the Avoint app. So there wasn't a full slate of people there because I'm not sure why, but
the
it
weather
wasn't
as
as many
well.
as normal. And there were a significant number of people that had the alert. Some didn't, and their comment was, well, I get my news from Facebook. And anyway, we will attend future meetings and see if we can find out. They're a bit intimidated by the technology. So, they have their daughters and their sons and alerting them if anything goes on in Holyrood. But I really would like everybody to have the alert because it's so informative and it gets the message out to all our residents
Very quickly.
and very quickly. So so that was good, and that's it.
Okay.
I
Excellent.
do have a motion
You
here.
do have a motion?
Yes, I do. Motion to accept Committee's report. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood accept the committee's updates and recommendations as presented in the committee's report, provided by the various departments and made available to all councillors for consideration.
So moved by Councillor Story, seconded by Councillor King. Any discussion? No. All those in favor? Aye. No contravene. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Story. And you're right, I think with the Voyant, people are a little bit hesitant, but the instantaneous access to the information, because I know myself, when you're on Facebook, sometimes it's a couple of days behind. So you're trying to refresh it enough to get the most up-to-date information. So I do like, unless you're actively looking towards the Town of Holyrood site, so that's the Voyant is instantaneously give you that data. So yeah, it is. So thank you. Okay, Corporate Services and Administration, Miss Deputy Mayor. Begin.
Thank you, Mayor Crawley. Corporate Services and Administration Committee, we met yesterday. Back-to-back meetings. With all members in attendance, of course. During the meeting, expenditures and checks issued since the last public meeting were reviewed and all items presented were in good order. The committee also reviewed 2 pieces of correspondence. We've talked about them already. Letters from Minister Chris Tibbs and Barry Petton, and our CAO is preparing written responses for both of those. The committee discussed as well possible alternatives for garbage collection services for 2027. And our CAO is currently gathering information from neighbouring communities here in Conception Bay North, as well as other municipalities just outside the metro region. The information being collected includes the scope of work, cost per household, or cost per contract, and overall contract details. And once this information has been compiled, it will be presented to all the council for review and discussion. So that's an important piece there for everyone. The town's auditor, Beacon Accounting, has also been in the office collecting and reviewing data in preparation for the annual audit, with the target completion date and finalization we're hoping in June of 2026, of course. The committee also reviewed the current status of tax revenue collection. And at this time, we're almost finished the first quarter, we have collected, or received, however you want to put it, 17.41% of property taxes, 11.52% of water and sewer, 18.43% of business, and 49.1% of fire services. So in total, that comes to $714,032.49 that's been collected to date of 2026 taxes. So that's really good. I think we're in a good position there. Since the last public meeting as well, an additional $11,000 was collected from prior year outstanding taxes. So that's everything 2025 and earlier. And since January 1, so let's say for the quarter, a total of $66,000 has been collected in outstanding taxes from previous years. So it's great to see that, our corporate service director is keeping on top of that and bringing in those funds, because every little bit helps for sure. And finally, the departmental budgets, their information, which is scheduled for the end of the first quarter, March 31st. We'll review that, and a report will go out to council when that's compiled and completed.
That's right.
Other than that, I don't think there's
point
anything
out,
else.
almost everything you mentioned was in the letter from the minister, the audit and everything included, reviewing the financials, reviewing quarterly, checking in receivables, all of that was in that list.
Yes. Okay. That's
Thank
it
you.
for corporate services, Mayor.
You have a motion, Deputy Mayor Woodford? I always forget the motion. Pay the bills.
Sorry about that.
We'll forgive you this time.
You'll forgive me this time?
Yeah.
Be it resolved, those accounts tabled in the amount of $231,632.83, check numbers D5373 to 5445 and 47962 to 47998 be approved for payment from the general account. So moved.
So moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Crawley. Any discussion? General accounts, payables.
General accounts, yeah.
Yep. All those in favor? Aye. No contrary-minded.
And we have a great bank book balance of $223,407.24.
Fantastic.
No, I'm done.
Excellent. Thank you, not really, because it's around new business now, and you're the first one up. All right. Nothing for you today? No problem. Councillor Crawley, nothing for you today. Councillor King? I know. That you're up to 6 minutes now. No, I'm joking.
No, I just got two, actually I only had 1 point, but then when Councillor Windsor spoke, I had 2 points. But I just want to just briefly talk about the cell tower, because that's something that we've been pushing. Everybody in this room and everybody in this building has been pushing since 2021.
Absolutely.
Right? So this tower never just magically popped up in Holyrood. There was a lot of meetings, there was a lot of letters, there was a lot of people talking to each other, there was a lot of complaints, there was a lot of resolution at MNL.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of
Work put into
work
it.
and effort gone in by staff, by council, by talking to the minister and talking to everybody else. So when the last time I went to an MNL meeting, people kept saying, about how much trouble it is getting a tower. And I explained to them, it is a lot of trouble, but you just can't say something one day and then forget about it, because the minute you forget about it, so does the person that you were talking to. They also forget it as well. So it's great. It's great news that we're going to get a tower, and hopefully I can talk to somebody out in Carbonear without having to call them back 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
On that. But the other point I got is regards and something else is very important, is that was the announcement that was made last week about Beta Nord, and it's going to tie into the deputy mayor's comments, and it's going to tie into pretty well all the other comments as well. Okay, so it's great news, because everything going on, all you have to do now is turn on the TV, go to the gas station, and see what's going on in the rest of the world. And here is a safe part of the world to rely on. Newfoundland, whether it's Newfoundland, Labrador, whether it's Canada or Alberta, whether it's all these different places, we're a reliable customer to be able to supply energy to the rest of the world. And what's going on now in the Middle East only reinforces why Beta Nord is such a great idea. And that, they're talking about first oil now in 2031, with a life expectancy up into 2066, with about 400 million barrels of recoverable oil. That's what's there now. But they also said there's probably a lot more there that they haven't really touched on yet. But I just want to talk about the idea how it could affect Holyrood, because we have 4 schools. We have 4 schools here in Holyrood, okay? So you say, well, how would that affect them as well? Well, first of all, the life expectancy is up to 2066 for this particular project. So we have an elementary school, okay? There's kids there today that there's a very good possibility that some of those kids that are in Holy Cross today could be working in the offshore into the next 15 to 20 years. So we could have employees up going to kindergarten now and getting on the bus, right? And the other place we have is the Marine Institute. And actually there was an article, I think 2 days ago on VOCM, how it is going to be such a great idea for the Marine Institute, especially with deep water and all the other stuff. And then when you throw in the possibility of the Department of National Defense and having a dry dock and all these different facilities for the military and for the Coast Guard, it fits right into their alley as well. And the other one would be the Operating Engineers College up on the Salmon line. All heavy equipment, cranes. If they build a floating dock, if they expand Bull Arm and all these different places, those
It's gonna
types of
expand.
jobs are going to be in demand, right? So that's the third school. And then we have the fourth school, which is the IBEW College up here on the Access Road, where, you know, electricians and all these different courses that they run, you know, confined space and all these different things. All these things all work into both the offshore, the modules that they're proposing to build here, and the floating dock. And, you know, for example, just as an example, if you had a ship like HMCS St. John's, there's over 300 kilometers of electrical cable in one of those ships, right? And wiring a ship is a little bit different than wiring a house. And so it needs specialized training. So you imagine if the provincial government, the federal government, the D&D, the offshore could all get together and you know, and say to the college up here, we want you to become the center of excellence for the offshore with regards to electrical work on modules and on ships in dry dock. It all, basically what I'm saying is, it all has could have a very positive effect on the town of Holyrood down the road with regards to businesses. With regards, now we got a cell tower. Nobody wants to go anywhere if you can't talk to somebody on the phone. So all of these things are all coming together almost at the exact same time, and it's all good. So
Right.
all good stuff.
So Bruce, I just want to point out though, the electrical that's not operating right now. Electrical
Well, actually, we
engineers,
got to get up there and get that started again.
But they are doing
they are
Yeah,
doing
they are
training
doing-
and
yeah.
stuff, yes,
So, but I'm
it's just
saying
not
this
as a
is-
school.
this is-
Yeah, electrical.
Yeah, this is something that could open
Yes,
the doors.
could open the doors
right?
back up
It's-
again,
It's an
yeah.
incentive
A lot of
to-
options.
to open the doors
Yeah.
and have people in the train.
Lot
Because
of
there is a
options.
demand, because even when they talked about it there last week with the Premier, for ships to go in dry dock now, there's a backlog of 2 to 4
Yes,
years
they were saying, yeah.
before a ship can go into dry dock. All the older frigates
Mm-hmm.
in the fleet right now need to be refitted. They're talking about building 12 more newer ships. They're building icebreakers. They're building the Coast Guard and all that. So, you know, it'd be great if we
Yeah.
could get some of that stuff here. That's all I'm saying. So it's
Lots
all
of
positive.
opportunities, yeah,
Yeah,
lots of
thank you.
opportunities. I just keep thinking about the little ones in Holy Cross now heading off to. I know, I have this image in my head now. Excellent. Okay, thank you, Councillor King. Councillor Story? Do you have anything you want to bring up for new business? No? You're good? Thank you. Okay, Councillor Windsor?
Initially, I was going to say, I didn't really have a whole lot to say other than, you know, I miss my colleague here, Phil, all by myself on
You're
this
so
side of the
lonely
room.
over there.
But, I mean, listening to Councillor King there, you know, got me thinking, you know, and certainly we should all feel passionate about the Bay to Nord project. I think it's going to be very beneficial to the province, all of us, right? And particularly this region, I think, can benefit from it. I mean, I get excited about it. I spent most of my career with the offshore. I've done something with each one of them, the Terra Nova, the White Rose, the Hibernia, the Hebron, you know, at one point or time or another. And, you know, for so long, if you listen to Wakeham's speech, he was bang on when he was talking about, for so long we've been told we can't do it, right? And now we can do it, which is excellent. And you talked about the regional conflict, you know, and Canada is a safe, reliable partner, and our product is a higher quality product. We talk about the environment, right? We're not getting off oil anytime soon. None of us are on this planet.
No.
But our product is a good product that can displace other products out of the market, right? It should have been approved a long time ago. Canada should have east-west pipelines, all that. I could go on all night on this, but we'll do that off camera. You reminded me too, like the cell phone tower. Like we forget how much work that was.
Oh, I don't.
And you're right,
Sorry.
Bruce, Councillor King. It didn't just appear, right? I think back to some of those meetings as you were talking, like I was, you know, hitting rewind in my brain. And I remember a couple of those calls that some of us had, we participated in. They were very tense with
Very heated.
Bell's corporate leadership. And to the credit of the former mayor, like, I mean, he beat the drum in the media as well, right?
Yep.
And I think that
Never relented.
yeah,
relented.
and nobody gave up on it, as frustrating as it was at times. So it didn't just appear. So we should acknowledge that and clap ourselves in the back a little bit, because we do deserve it. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank
Thanks a
you,
lot.
Councillor Windsor. And I just want to say before I go on, I know I did my mayor's update, but I hope, and I speak on behalf of everyone, that our thoughts and our hearts are with those in the Middle East who are going through everything, especially Canadians that are over and displaced and trying to make it home and trying to get out. So just want to know that our little piece of the world, we are thinking about them. Okay, our little corner. Date of next meeting, April 7th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Story. All those in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.